everybody, this is Les Nesquik with FUX Radio, and you are listening to the Breaking Hyman podcast with Lori and Morgan. So tell me more about how my ex-wife is a bitch and the reason I let
Welcome
her...
Welcome to Bashing Exes with Morgan and Hyman.
The reason I let her keep the house, I'm from here, she's not, so I moved in with my mom, she stayed, and we're like, we're going to sell it eventually, and she's like, no, I want to stay here. You cannot kick a person out of your house if they still co-own it. I talked to a lawyer, I talked to a realtor, and my name is still on it, and...
you should just move back in.
The thing is, she found out how much I weighed, and she's like, all right, how many cats does that equal? And that's what she did. She moved in that many cats.
No, she's a crazy cat lady now?
Yeah, she's a crazy cat lady now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, he told me a story, and I'm going to share it, and if he wants to edit it out, he can.
I won't edit anything out. Just don't say my ex's name.
Right.
Because I don't like saying her name.
Well, she doesn't go by whore, right?
She changed it back. She changed it back to her maiden name, so it's whore. Our guest is. Do you just go by Jordan C on stage?
So I'm starting to go by my full name, Jordan Cavarrubio.
Cavarrubio.
Yeah, for right now, I mean, you'll. I'm not anybody special.
Is that 2 R's?
Yeah, Cavarrubio.
Whoa, slow down, killer.
That's a Mexican name.
Yeah, I'm a Villarreal, but I had to learn it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like
Cavarrubio.
And you're not on that on Instagram. You're just, what are you on?
Jordan C. I'm Jordan C. HTX.
Okay. Cool. Houston, Texas. Yeah, so you're from Lubbock originally, correct? But you live in Houston now.
Yeah, I moved to Houston. So I went to Houston for college. I moved in 2019. And then COVID hit my sophomore year. So I moved back to Lubbock for a year. And then I moved back to Houston. And I've been doing stand-up for a year now.
Because I met you shortly after you started doing stand-up.
A week after.
Really? It wasn't that... And your cousin does it sometimes here in Lubbock as well.
Right, yeah. My cousin Michael V. Yeah. I try and get him to go out. He just sends me his jokes.
We don't see him near as much. He was coming out for a little bit, but yeah, he's got a kid and stuff, so I get it.
He definitely has grown folk responsibility. It's funny because I'm still kind of I'm lucky enough. I didn't have any fucking kids.
You're lucky.
No kids. Yeah.
Go get yourself a vasectomy right now.
Literally.
That's the best thing I ever did.
We can do it before you go.
Dude, my dad for my entire high school. So this is actually kind of a funny story. So my dad throughout high school, because him and my mom had me when they were teenagers. Yeah. And he used to always tell me, Jordan, I'll pay for your vasectomy.
Dude.
I promise I'll pay for your vasectomy. And one day, I turned it into a joke because he didn't really say it like this, but he might as well have said it like this. Yeah. I was like, why are you always telling me to get a vasectomy? And he's like, dude, it'll just make your life so much easier.
Well, you don't have to wear condoms anymore. Right. Believe me from experience.
I don't want to get locked down. I don't want you to get locked in like I did with you.
So I had this joke where I used to be like, yeah, my dad used to tell me, get a vasectomy, and I'd be like, why? You didn't get a vasectomy, and he was like, exactly, I ruined my life.
I had plans, bro.
Yeah, I had plans before you, bro.
Are you the oldest in the family?
I am. Yeah, I am.
You really ruined them.
Yeah.
Dude, my dad, he got off easy, bro. My grandma took care of me. My mom took care of me. Dude, the other day, he got drunk, and my dad's a hilarious dude. He's a very funny dude. He's always been a real lady killer.
Yeah.
So I remember the other day we were drinking and he was like, son, he was like, I never changed your diaper once.
Oh,
I was like, that's not good.
Right, like that's not a brag, dude.
Yeah. Like, you're a bad dad.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Well, you gave me that first beer when I was 6, so we're calling good.
You should wear a diaper and shit your pants and make him change it now.
Right.
Just be like, change it.
Never too late,
Change
Dad.
it. Clean the shit out of my pubes, Dad.
Prove you love me.
Get super drunk and just shit my pants.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm not getting off your couch. I'm not getting.
You're gonna be a dad once.
Right.
Yeah.
Would it be a safe assumption that your folks are not together?
They aren't together.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I was
like,
I don't know. Your mom is a badass.
No.
Like she will put up with some shit.
My mom is a badass. My mom is a badass.
Good.
But no, so this kind of goes more into like my life too. Is like I never experienced life with them together. Like my mom left my dad like. And she's so proud of me. My mom left my dad like a month before I was born.
Whoa.
Because like, I mean, like I said, my dad was a lady killer. Yeah. So he cheated.
She's like, this dude ain't changing diapers. I can already tell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his fucking, her favorite story to tell me. And sometimes I think my mom tries to like manipulate me into like.
No, moms never do that.
I think she tries. I think she tries to manipulate me into like low key hating my dad a little bit because she'll tell me like stories like, you know, your dad showed up to my delivery with hickeys on his neck, right? And I'm just like, I knew you were trying to make me hate it, but you're just making him sound so cool.
I know, like, what a player, cool, man. He was there.
Is this going into your bits? Because that shit's hilarious.
No. This is all just.
Well, I mean, it sounds funny. It's funny as hell.
Check with your mom first.
My dad's my hero because he didn't want me.
Yeah, for real. He's honest. Right. My mom lies to me. My mom says like the best thing that ever happened. Mom, your dreams died with me, lady. Right. Shut up.
So, are you the only kid your parents have together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have kids from other people?
Yeah, my.
Well, your dad obviously does.
Yeah, my dad obviously does.
Whether he knows it or not.
I'm pretty sure my dad has kids I'm not supposed to know about.
Probably.
So
it's like, this is your black brother. This is your Chinese sister.
Yeah. You marry anybody from Lubbock, get a DNA first.
No,
just in case it might be your sister or brother. I don't know. No judgment.
Yeah. Nah, man, my mom, I have a lot of siblings. I mean, I count my step siblings because I grew up with them. So, I mean, I have a little sister on my mom's side. I have a sister. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 sisters on my dad's side.
Oh, damn.
Which 3 of them are my stepsisters. But, I mean, I grew up with them. Yeah. I have a little brother on my dad's side, and then I have 2 brothers on my mom's side.
Oh, okay. So big family.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, probably shitloads of cousins, I'm sure.
Yeah, my cousins, oh my god.
Well, you're Mexican, so that kind of goes in the territory, you know, Catholics and shit.
Yeah, dude, exactly, bro.
Yeah,
exactly.
I get it.
My husband's dad was one of 13 that lived. Like she had more. Yeah, she had to go through a couple of husbands. I mean, like,
did they kill the other kids? Because you said the only one that lived.
Well, 13 that lived. Dude, that was a long time ago and started in New Mexico. So
they stepped on nails, got lockjaw, whatever.
Yeah,
like, whoops, sorry.
We'll
have another one and name it Juan in your honor.
I don't know.
Literally, that's how it went. That's literally how it went.
No, I have one of my great grandfathers was a twin, and he had a twin brother that stepped on a rusty nail and got tetanus and died.
What?
Yeah, this is like in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Dude, my
I never made it. I know that shit. I'd been dead early. I had like asthma and shit. I'd have been out.
Dude, same, dude. My family, they're probably going to listen to this podcast. I'm actually 90% sure they're going to listen to this.
Oh, okay, cool.
They're probably going to be sad that I'm going to bring this up. They're probably going to be mad. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, whatever, you know.
We made him do it.
You're a comic.
He's tied down right now. Gun to his head.
So I have an uncle. I never met him because he died whenever he was like 16.
Oh, okay.
And he like got electrocuted.
Oh, shit.
Because he fucking... So they used to live in the country and he had a metal pole and it hit a fucking like a live telephone, like a live electrical wire.
God damn.
And he died. And like, I remember growing up, they used to be like, Jordan, you look so much like him. Like, and I'm like,
hold this pole.
Was his name Jordan too?
No, his name was Bernie. His dude was.
Good thing you didn't get named after Bernie.
Yo, low key, honestly, that's really fucked up. Now that I think about it, that's really fucked up. But that was his name.
Was it Bernie? B-U-R-N-I-E? Bernie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh.
Manga's gonna call me after this. You little motherfucker! You talking about my fucking brother?
What?
Is that on your mom's side or your dad's side?
No, it's on my mom's
side.
Right. My dad's side.
Rest his soul.
You know, shit.
That was funny. That was good.
I mean, you know, there's a guy at the College of Ag whose last name is Land. You know, stuff like that. You know, it just pans out that way.
There's a guy who got electrocuted.
His name's Bernie. You know.
I mean,
I know a girl named Sapphire. She's a stripper. What did you expect was going to happen?
I mean, that's it. She's either that or a superhero. You know, it's like one or the other. Yeah. Well,
one of those
I let the comics roast me on my birthday last year. And this comic, Patrick, he lives in Oklahoma City now. He wrote the best joke about my name. He's like, it's funny that Morgan's last name is Hyman because he looks like a virgin pussy. You wrote the best joke about my name. Thank you.
That is good.
My last name's Hyman. I look like a virgin pussy, which I am not.
Oh, shit.
I might be a pussy. I'm definitely not a virgin.
What I heard I hope you're not insulted because I thought it was fantastic. Someone described you as, I gotta remember what band they said.
Oh, somebody described me?
Yeah, as Teddy Ruxpin with an Iggy Pop cassette inside.
Dude, fuck yeah. That's cool. I don't see it. I don't see it. But I'll take it. I get the Teddy Ruxpin part, the Iggy Pop part. I don't know.
I don't think they said Iggy Pop. It was probably funnier, but maybe. You get the idea. It was a funny comedian, but like imagine awesome. Like a cute little teddy bear just like saying the foulest shit. You know?
And some those videos you've seen those videos of the lady has like a teddy bear with a dildo attached to it and she just fucks it. Like that's what that's the vibe. Have
you seen that
that's
video?
the vibe I'm trying to get across. I saw it on Pornhub before it got banned. So that's the vibe. That's the vibe I want to get across. A teddy bear that you can also have sex with too.
Right. I think it's working from what I hear.
What made you decide to get on stage and do comedy the first time, man?
So I remember this was a year ago, it was last March.
Were you in Houston for your first open mic?
Yeah, the first open mic I ever did was in Houston.
Okay.
And that was about a year ago? You've been doing this only about a year?
Yeah, I've been doing it a little bit over a year now. I think now it's probably like a year and a month. But when I first started,
It's your baby. It's 13 months old.
It is. It's still a baby. Whenever I first decided I wanted to do stand-up, I was in New York.
Oh, shit.
And I went to go watch a show at the Comedy Cellar.
I've been there too. That is the mecca for comedy.
Yeah, and like it was funny because so I went to go see Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis is my favorite comedian.
That gets said a lot around here.
So yeah, he's great. I'm starting to branch out a little bit. I'm starting to like Norm Macdonald a lot.
Oh man,
Norm rules.
Yeah, he was
R.I.P.
He was a goat. But yeah, I was at the Comedy Cellar, and I remember. So when you go to the Comedy Cellar, you have to eat above the basement in like the restaurant.
Oh, but you ate there too?
Yeah, but you can buy, you can go downstairs to like take a piss, whatever you got to do. Yeah. So we were eating, and then I went downstairs. And I saw Chris DiStefano.
Oh, awesome.
And Chris DiStefano used to have a show on MTV called Guy Code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my dad was in prison growing up. So, like, Guy Code raised me. Like, my mom would leave me alone.
How do I be a man?
Yeah, like, I would watch MTV in the summer and, like, I'm like, oh, so you finger a pussy that way? Like, all right, cool. Like,
who all was on that show? I know Dan Soder was on it sometimes. Chrissy D, a bunch of comics.
Charlamagne the God, I think. I think Andrew Schultz was on it. But I'll never forget. I'm walking downstairs and I see Chris DiStefano and I'm like, yo, Chris, Guy Code, bro, that shit raised me. And he was like, that's not a good thing. And he just walked on stage.
Terrible.
That's hilarious. That's the best thing he could have said to you.
Yeah. He just walks on stage and then I'm like, oh, fuck. So then I feel like a dumbass, right? Because I was like, fuck. Now it's funny to me, but at the time I was like, oh, he thinks I'm gay. Like, why would I tell him that? So then, I take a piss. I go walk upstairs, and as I'm walking upstairs, I open the door. Shane Gillis is right there.
Oh, fuck.
I'm like, yo, Shane, hi, what's up? And he probably thinks I'm like the help. He's like, like,
right.
the fuck this
like,
the new dishwashing
who's
shit.
this Mexican?
Like, yeah, and like,
or probably more likely he's in New York. Who's this Puerto Rican?
yeah, right, literally, right. So he goes downstairs.
Here you go.
he goes downstairs. I'm like starstruck and shit, and then we go downstairs. We watch the show, and it was a really nice lineup of comics. It was there was that kid Marcelo from SNL. He was on it.
Yeah.
There's this one white guy. He was he just came out with the special. I can't remember his name, but he has a really good Chinese bit.
Nice.
And then Shane Gillis.
Was he the closer for the night? Was Gillis the closer? Wow.
And like that, like the whole experience, like it sparked something in my ego, in my artistic ego that I've always had.
So you were always a fan. You're already a fan, but you're like,
obviously, if you're in New York and go to the comedy cellar,
right?
So what was it about that night? Was it just?
It was. Honestly, it was all the attention all the other comics were giving. I was like,
it's fucking cool.
I was sitting in the back of the corner. I was sitting in the back of the room, listening. Like everybody's having a good time watching, and I'm laughing too. But like for the most part, my mind is just like, well, you want that. You want those. You want that attention. You want those laughs. So from that point on, I was like, okay, I want to do stand up, but I still had to graduate college. I graduated in like 2 months. So I was like,
you finised college?
I did.
Cool. Okay. Wow.
Way to go, Mom.
Yeah, right. Way to go, Mom.
Thanks for nothing, Dad.
Well, did he shit his pants? His dad taught him not to shit his pants by never changing a diaper.
No, I mean, he got you on the guy code. That's cool.
He did.
I'm guessing your mom didn't introduce you to that one.
No, my poor mother. My poor mother. Growing up, she was obviously present. She's a great mom, but like, it's hard. I mean, as a single mom, it's hard to raise like
especially if
boy by yourself.
She's a teenager. You know, she's growing up too.
Adult. Yeah. I think whenever I was 12, 13, my mom must have been like barely 30.
Damn.
Yeah.
So what you're saying right now is I could date your mom. Because she's like my age.
I don't know, dude. My stepdad is a handsome looking fella. I'm not gonna lie,
his dad kind of sounds like a pimp, Morgan. I don't know.
His dad's, they're not together. You know?
I know, but
it's
just
okay.
saying.
How old are you, dude?
I am 20. I turn 23 next Friday.
Okay, that's so funny. I've been seeing this woman, and she has a 23-year-old son.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
She's gonna be a grandma. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna be a grandma.
Yeah. She started super young though. So
wait. She has a kid that's pregnant.
Her son's wife is pregnant.
Oh, right on! Congrats, man.
Dude. 23 with a wife, dude. 23.
I was 23 with a wife. I was 23 when I got married. Almost 24. Yeah, it's crazy.
Me and my ex-girlfriend just broke up like on Sunday.
Oh shit! Sunday, I was gonna ask.
How long were y'all together?
Well, we were together for 2 years, but we were high school sweethearts. So like,
we
were together in high school. Yeah, we were together in high school, and then we broke up when I went to college, and then we got back together 2 years ago.
Okay. But you were doing the long distance thing though, or
it was a long distance thing. It just wasn't working.
And she's like, "You're gonna get all kinds of comedy pussy," and you're like, "Yeah, I know."
She swore, bro. She swore. I remember she told me like, and she would kind of try and play it off like I'm just joking, but you could tell like she wasn't joking. She used to be like, I think you have a comedy girlfriend. I really do, and I was like, I don't know who you think shows up to these open mics.
Right, and all these hot chicks at the open mics.
Yeah, you're not like headlining at the Improv yet.
No, exactly. I'm like,
you're like, even if they wanted to,
I'm like making
just. Feel free to take my picture around and be like, see?
I'm like,
this is who's there, okay?
I'm like literally like performing in front of like cokeheads. They're only there because they're dealers doing comedy too, so they're just, that's the only reason they're there.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of cross. It's funny, a lot of comics in Lubbock are sober. We have a lot of sober comics. Yeah, dude...
As an alcoholic, it was weird for me to find that out because I've been doing this less than a year, and I was like, why isn't everybody else having as much fun as I am?
Well, I'm a weed guy.
It's because I'm the problem. They're like, it's that drunk bitch that thinks she's funny again.
I'm a weed guy, so I'll occasionally have a drink, but it's funny. This dude named Mike Priz or Mike Priz. I don't know, whatever. He's funny as fuck. He lives in KC, but he's from Queens, New York. But he lives in Kansas City now. But he was in town for business, and he did a show with us last week. And we went to Adolph's afterwards doing karaoke. He's like, "Why the fuck is anybody drinking?" I'm like, "I'll have a drink with you, Mike."
Right.
But so yeah, but a lot of sober comics, just because, and a lot of us are poor as fuck too. So they're like, "I drink, I just don't have money to drink tonight."
Most of them are in recovering. So so I don't push too hard.
Or they do other things like nitrous and stuff instead of drinking.
And that's one thing that like a lot of the like being in Houston. So kind of what we were talking about. I don't know if we're recording yet, but like,
we've been recording for 20 minutes.
Perfect. Like the veterans.
Your mom already knows.
The veterans in Houston, like. So that's kind of why I like coming to Lubbock, because Lubbock, like you guys do have like vets, of course. I mean,
we're all friends too,
right?
For the most part,
it's a smaller scene. You guys are all cool.
Yeah.
That's true.
I feel like everybody is relatively new, so like y'all are growing together for the most part.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that started around the last 1 to 2 years ago. I'm just 2 years in.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, but in Houston, there are veterans that have been doing it for like 8-10 years, and like now newer people like.
I mean, you got Ali Sadiq is based there. You got tons of comics that are from there. You know,
absolutely.
So it's a good comedy city.
But what happens is if the people that started around or a little bit after, like those Ali Sadiqs, those big names who made it out of Houston, if they are still in Houston when new guys like me are starting to like come up, it gets weird, right? It gets weird
clicky.
Because it gets a little clicky. It gets a little like, I don't know your name. You've been coming out here for a year now, 3 times a night. I still don't like. It's very weird like that. So it's a very,
and that's bullshit, because if you worked a job for a year, everyone would know you after a year of working a job. But comedy, like, you've only been doing this a year. It's like, I'm still getting good at it, but come on, I've been doing this.
Last night was my first night out in 3 weeks, and you saw everyone's like, "Hey, you okay? What's up?" You know.
But that is the good thing, is like I have been finding like. It sucks because whenever you're in a scene like that where like cliques are formed, you really just got to get your own clique. So like I've kind of been developing my own clique where I'm like,
nice,
you motherfuckers gonna be sorry, you know,
right,
but I'm
gonna be Mexican Shane Gillis in this shit.
That's what I'm gonna do, man. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. No, but yeah, so. But that being said, there are cool veterans who like they have told me, but they're like, "Hey, man, like." Stay sober. That's my biggest, because I drink. I'll have like a drink every now and again, but for the most part, like I like to stay sober during my sets.
You don't go out. That's good advice, because
that's good advice all around that I've never taken. But like generally speaking,
so
moderation. I
believe you told me about a comic. Is a friend of yours named Mason James?
James. So he's not necessarily a friend, but he is. Well, a nice guy.
You know him. Yeah, that dude's hilarious. Yeah, he headlined at the. Did he headline at the Mothership, or I know he performed at the Mothership?
I think he's passed.
Yeah, he's passed at the Mothership. But that's crazy.
He's like the main guy for the Riot in Houston, and the Riot is like kind of the place to be right now. Okay. So in Houston, there are 3 comedy clubs. There's Improv, obviously, and then there's the Riot, and then there's a secret group, and they're building a new one called Punchline. But for the most part, like if you're a local comic, you're gonna stick to the Riot. It's a secret group. Okay. But the Riot is a much more like good boy type of comedy.
Good old
boy. Does that
boy.
make sense? Yeah. Like you gotta play their games.
And Mason is clean, I've noticed.
He's a nice guy though.
He's hilarious.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely. Yeah. Mason is definitely like there are some people, and this is being honest, like whenever as an objective person, like whenever I'm back home and like I'm watching all the comics, there are a handful of guys that I'm actually like, I can see you making it.
Yeah,
and like
sure.
Mason's like 26.
Yeah, it's crazy because he looks like 40 because he's bald.
Yeah. He's like 26.
You're welcome, Mason. That was Morgan Hyman.
Fine, I'm fat. People can make fun of me too.
He runs the second biggest club in Houston. Like,
wow.
So like so a guy like him, like he's definitely gonna make it.
Yeah, sure.
A couple other guys I can like name off the top of my head. This guy Elias, he always puts me on shit. He's always helping me out. Cool. That's one of my boys. He's definitely, I can see him making it. My good friend Christian. So, and this is the thing with stand up too, is like a lot of people tell you like you just have to be funny, but like it's so much more. Whenever you break into those scenes where like it is cliquey, and where like opportunity really is there to like the right person sees you. You're in Austin doing a spot in front of somebody important.
Yeah.
Like all that comes into play, and while yes, the main thing is like be funny, there are also like kind of rules to what else can you do for me. Like for example, Mason James. Yeah. Literally, Mason James just told me we did an open mic on Wednesday, and it was a fucking horrible, shitty open mic. It was bad. It was so bad. It was just like people in the bar talking. Like, it was funny because like in the middle of his set, Mason is like talking to me and another like just having a conversation with us because nobody's paying attention.
Right.
So he's just like talking to us, and he told me, he was like, "You guys need to get rooms. Like you guys need to get y'all's own rooms because truth be told, like that's how you get ahead in spaces like that is." You have to bring people rooms.
You put together like a bar show or something like that. Okay, cool. So I got my own room now.
Yeah, for real. Definitely. Well, and that's really what Matt Farrell was talking about that he actually did. He had never been on stage before, ever, and done stand up. And he rented an auditorium in Oklahoma, not Norman,
Lawton.
Is it? Lawton.
Nice.
And promoted his own show and got some people
sold
to do.
like 200 tickets, but it was like a 1,200 seat venue. But he still sold 200 tickets for his first show.
And in a stand-up desert. I mean, it had no kind of...
Yeah, well, he's like, how do I do stand-up? Because they didn't have open mics there. So he's just like, I'm just going to put together an act and hire some comics.
Because some chick kept telling him he was funny. You know, and I'm like, I guess...
That's crazy, man.
Right?
Yeah, it is, but
that's one way to go. Sounds like a good one.
We're kind of in this cool spot now, and you living in Houston, being a cool comedy city, because I was in Springfield, Missouri, just for like a funeral a couple months ago, and I went through the Blue Room comedy in Springfield, and Chad Daniels were performing, and I'm like, I will go see a pro anytime, especially if there's somebody with some experience like somebody like Chad Daniels. He's been doing stand-up for like 25 years. He used to tour with Hedberg back in the day. But I asked him, I was like, so, you know, where are some, and he's like, I'm in Texas, where should I, and he's like, well, Houston's great, Dallas, Austin, you know, so
he's
I mean,
like, what's
that's
a
one
Lubbock?
of the, exactly, he didn't know where the fuck Lubbock was, obviously, because it's not on any kind of comedy radar, but at the same time, you know, I'm trying to do that. You know, people like Selena and myself, or you know, like I'm stuck in Lubbock. I'm from here, and I want to get as much comedy here as I possibly can. And I'm working on it. I'm figuring out making.
You're going places. You're traveling.
What else did Mason tell you, or anybody else, about like getting rooms and building an audience? Because I'm curious to hear this kind of stuff.
So so you know, that was kind of some advice that Mason told me, and like. I mean, that's just a big thing whenever you go to another scene, is like, you go to another scene, or a bigger scene, if you have something that people want, because you can be funny all you want. I kind of look at it as like wants and needs, right?
Right.
So like, being funny is a want. Having a time to be funny is a need, right? So if I have a badass room that everybody wants to be at, and, you know, people have shows, and people are like, hey, you think I can get on your place? And then I have the ability to be like, hey, I'll put you on, but I want to be on your shit.
Right.
So there's kind of this weird, like, demand thing that goes into it. And, like, sometimes, like, even my friends, man, like, sometimes I'll get into arguments with my friends because they're like, you just have to be funny. And I'm like, y'all are looking at it from a very rose-colored glasses. It's not just being funny. Like, you have to.
It's those same people that sit at a comedy show and think, I could do that. I'm funnier than that person. You might be, but your ass isn't up there, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
I actually went off on some dude sitting at the bar last night at PM on my way out. Because he was just talking mad shit about the comedy. And he was like,
regular?
I don't know. I didn't recognize him, but I'm not good at that. But he was at the corner by the door with the lady that was being like, then don't listen to it. Get into your phone or whatever.
I wonder who.
But he was just
annoyed by.
And he was like, I should just go in there and rip that fucking microphone out of their hand. And I'm tabbing out. And I just turned to him. I was like, man, you don't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Like, don't listen to it.
Well, and it's funny that we will. I'm a big dude too, you know. I'm like, 6'1", 300 pounds. So no one's gonna fuck with me if they don't like my set, because they don't know. I mean, I've got a guitar. I could bash it over their head.
I don't think he knew that I was a comic. I mean, you know.
But it's funny because have you ever had anybody like respond negatively like during your set to anything you've said?
Yes. Yeah. I remember one time I was at this place called Bluto's Bar. And so this was actually my room for one day. It was my room for one day.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it got taken away from me the first day I had it. I had one of my friends. So I told a couple of my friends, like, man, if y'all pull up, I can give y'all like 30 minutes, which is unheard of.
Right.
Like,
unheard
of. Period. Like 30 minutes for open micers. Like,
no.
What the fuck? Yeah. So I told my friend Mackenzie and I told my friend Scotty. And I opened it up. I did like 10 minutes, and by this point, like the bar that I was hosting at tonight, that night, they had already seen me do time. Like I had done like an hour there before, which sucked ass. By the way, it was like I was 3 or 4 months in, and I was just talking.
An hour. Wow.
I've done a 30 minutes of half music, half comedy. That's like the longest I've been on stage.
So like shit like that. It was. Yeah, which is what I'm saying. Like, it was unheard of, especially in a place like that in Houston, where like you just kind of have free reign. And so I went up. I did like 10. I could already tell it was a bad night. The regulars were pissed. I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna bring up my next comic, Mackenzie, and I bring up Mackenzie, and I think he did 15, because I told him, I was like, I'm gonna give you 15 today.
Yeah.
I like, just to blah blah, just to make it work.
Right.
And he went up there and like offended all of the like white, like the red lining, like the white collar or blue collar like workers.
The conservative type.
He's like this gay theater kid. So he goes up and he's like doing his act, and like they're kind of like being dicks to him. So he starts being like, "Oh, y'all think I'm a pussy? Like y'all think that like I'm one of those woke? Like no, I'm not." So he starts going in like saying like, do you believe in, like, all right, this is what he did to him. He there's this regular sitting at the bar, and he tells her, he's like, do you believe in abortion? And she's like, no, that's fucking disgusting. And he's like, really? He's like, well, I hope, he was like, do you have kids? And she was like, yes. And he was like, I hope your kid aborts your fucking grandbaby.
Damn!
Like,
Jesus.
Just going. Damn. So I thought it was funny. Right?
That's funny, but it's not going to win your crowd or your room over. Yeah.
So I'm like laughing, and like, they're like, you think that, like, the bartender's like, you
he's
think
my
this is
hero.
Funny? Yeah.
But
they're like, do you think this is funny? And I'm new, it's my first time hosting, so I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? They're like, you need to go take the mic from him. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, I told him I gave him 15, like he's gonna do his 15. Yeah. A customer came and took the mic from him.
Damn.
So then I had to get up and like, be like, all right guys, like, that was it. Like, we're done. Like, we're done. Blah blah blah. And so by that point, all the regulars are like, "You guys need to get the fuck out of here, y'all." Blah blah blah. And that was it. That was the end of the night. It never.
That's a learning experience.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
Now I definitely have a rule. If I'm hosting, I'm like, bro, I'm giving you time. Like, do not make me like you. Like,
don't,
because I will light you if I have to. Like.
Yeah.
You start going crazy. Like, you start dropping in-bombs.
Oh, hell no.
That's the thing. It's like, we've been talking a lot lately about should comedy be censored, and I'm always saying that's the audience's jobs, But when you are antagonizing a crowd, when it becomes a public safety issue for the performer or the crowd, then you gotta step in and be like, look, this isn't your room. Like, they don't want to hear you tonight. I'm sorry.
And I mean, that's part of letting the crowd decide it.
Yeah,
that's part of letting the crowd decide it. It's like, if at that point you can explain to the comic afterwards, like, look, you did that to yourself. Like, you knew kind of what you were going into. You should always know, like, whenever you write a joke, you should always have an idea of what the reactions are going to be.
And what you're going to do about it should it go south.
Right, because I have some jokes that are a little, like, on edge. Especially, I've been writing a lot of, like, racial material lately. Not racist material, but, like, racial material. Yeah. And even me, like, I know, like, whenever I write the joke and I, like, write it out, I'm like, okay, this has a chance to be funny. But if it's not, like, I need to be able to bail. Like, last night, I was trying out some of that new, like, racial material, and then I was, like, I could tell, I was like, all right, this is not going good. So that's when I was like, I'm going to do a little crowd work. Fuck it. Because crowd work.
I enjoyed the crowd work.
And I think that's when good comedians, I think that's a sign of a good comedian that can switch, you know, and I feel like self-deprecation comes in really handy.
Absolutely.
If you can acknowledge, like, hey, all right, that's not your bag. No worries, not. I'm not. Whatever. Because I give a fuck. I'm just here for the spotlight, man. I just want to be in the light.
Exactly.
Selena told me something early on, and self-deprecation is definitely cool, and I dabble in that. That's one of the things. You know, I'm fat or whatever. You know, got a little dick, whatever. Shit. Women I've had sex with, if no otherwise, it's average.
You're not the only one with a microphone, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at the same time, as a host, I don't want to disparage the show. I want to make sure everybody's like, we're having a good time. You can make fun of yourself, but don't make fun of like the experience. Don't say this is a shitty show. And that's something that she pointed out to me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good thing. She's like, just make sure that they know it's a good show. Make fun of yourself, but don't.
I'm sorry, I didn't pick better acts, guys. That's on me.
Yeah, well, and it's an open mic too, you know. So you know, but we had a couple first timers last night. They actually got laughs. They got laughs, and those Irish people really kind of made the night. They showed up after you left. There were four. They were actually sitting with us. Or sitting with me.
Pretty sure I pissed off Ice. So they was like, "What do you do?" I was like, "Man,
shit happens. I
made it out. That was step one."
Yeah.
So. About last night too. Dude, one of the guys, I really like the anime dude. I thought the guy with the Dragon Ball stuff.
Oh yeah,
I really liked him. I was
that
like,
what's his name? Josh.
The guy laying on the floor for a little bit.
He laid on
Zach. It was Zach.
I really liked his. Like,
did he go on stage?
Yeah. Him and his buddy Nick both went on stage last night.
All right.
Because I can recognize myself like. Yeah, sometimes you do, like, I do take tropes from, like, established... It's just part of being a comic. It's part of being an artist, you know? Like, the greatest guitar player in the world didn't just pick up a fucking guitar. No, like, he learned... he picked a guitarist that he wanted to kind of mimic, and you build yourself up from there.
Yeah.
But that kid, whenever I was watching him, I was like, you're funny in the sense that you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that is a superpower in a lot of ways, because if you can be funny in the sense where you're, like... just unashamed of yourself, and you're just you to the fact. Like, I love when he kept saying, like, it was making me laugh when he was saying, like, he was like, I could be doing anime jokes right now, but y'all aren't gonna fucking get it. And I was like, that's funny, it's true. Like, that's funny.
Absolutely.
And then, like, so I always love, like, seeing comedians like that. There's this one comedian in Houston, he's very much... completely himself. This dude named Mike Soto. He's funny as fuck. He's my boy. He actually is supposed to help me change my oil when I get back home. He's a great dude.
Comic and mechanic.
Yeah, comic and mechanic.
I want to be your friend, Mike Soto.
Guys like that, though, like, I love how they can really be themselves, and how they can channel that energy. Yeah. You know, because like even like my friends, man, it's funny because they used to throw around the Shane Gillis thing a lot to me. Like, you doing a Shane right now, and I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Right.
But once the easiest way to get to like learn about a comic is to ask them who their favorite comedian is.
Yeah.
And then whenever you ask them, whenever you watch them on your next set, look for that.
Yeah.
Because for example, the guy who told me that, he was like, we got drunk one night, he was fucking with me. And he was like, you doing a Shane? I was like, who's your fucking favorite comedian? He said, Joey Diaz.
Oh.
The next day, we're at a mic, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, how did I not catch this?
Right.
Like, you're talking about doing coke. You did coke 3 minutes ago.
So I was eating this black chick's monkey the other night.
Yeah. You're talking about fucking and something like, dude, you're doing Joey. And now ever since I told him that, he'll be like, man, fuck you, Jordan. Like, I'm not doing fucking Joey. I'm like, you are. Like,
it's the same thing with bands. He's like, who's your favorite band? You can hear it in there. Like, her husband's a musician. I'll play some music. If you know who somebody's favorite artists are, you're going to hear it. And comedy is like, you don't have the whole thing to hide behind like the music and the
right.
like you really
you can't do the Vanilla Ice. It's dun 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 dun.
Exactly. I mean, you can draw comparisons like like Mark Normand is very similar to Norm Macdonald. Sam Morril does like a Rodney kind of shit. This guy sounds like Bird. This guy sounds like Louis or whatever.
Exactly.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Matt Farrell again. He's been on our podcast, but that was a point that he made too. He was like, everyone knows you don't steal jokes.
Yeah.
But you also don't steal mannerisms and that. Like, and he's like, people do it all the time and they don't mean to.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
you gotta respect that somebody cultivated that.
Exactly.
So you do have to watch out.
Exactly.
It's funny.
100%.
I was in El Paso. Me and Ricky went to El Paso. We saw Normand on UTEP campus, and then we hit some shows. There's some really good comics in El Paso right now. Mm-hmm. But there was this kid. He was funny as fuck, but he was doing the Gillis kind of like. It's a white kid, and you can especially tell because he kind of sounded like him. He looked a little like him, But it's like, okay, we know who you like. But he was funny too. I mean, he was a young dude, but I mean, it's imitation, sincerest form of flattery. But he had his own jokes. He had his own shit.
Absolutely.
And once you can. If you're doing kind of similar affectation to somebody else, you kind of can use that to find your own thing too.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I wanted to make a point. So you're from here, you live in Houston, but you come here on the reg.
On the reg, I would say more like every few months.
We see every 3
once a quarter, 3 or 4 times a year.
Gotta see the dad.
That's on the reg.
Exactly.
If I know this time you're here for several days, something you might want to consider if you haven't, you may have. I'm sorry if you have. Is the Midland area?
Oh yeah, Midland's good. They got a mic there tomorrow night at Eccentric. Enrique Chacon headline there.
In fact, I think Heist will be going to that tomorrow.
Heist always goes there. I got a date.
But there's a comedian there, Show Enough, Stephanie Cook. You should check her out on Facebook or whatever her social medias are. But she has a showroom there, a comedy room there.
Yeah, she does.
Selena is actually with her right now, I think, on tour in the Gallapalooza.
Yeah.
Nice.
But Stephanie also opened up a great market at dispensaries here in East New Mexico.
They're doing. I haven't gotten a chance to do that, but they have
Tanner,
the dab bar, the fucking.
Tanner's been there. Ishmael, I don't know. Tanner was there last night. Wasn't there, but if you're going to be in this area for like a week, you've got more than just a couple of open mics in Lubbock, 2 or 3 open mics in Lubbock that are, a day within 2 hours of driving. And then there's stuff in Amarillo.
Those guys are funny as fuck.
So I say all this. I've never been anywhere. I mean, not for comedy, but you guys try harder than I do, and I like that. So
speaking of that, if you traveled outside, I mean, you come here obviously. Do you do any shows? Like, have you been over to like any towns around Houston doing comedy? Traveled to DFW, Austin, anything like that?
Not too long ago, I think in May or June, I was able to do an open mic in Austin.
Nice.
And that went pretty good. That being said, that's really it. But me and my friends are kind of working on something. Like, we would like to kind of get our group together and then, start doing that. Start hitting like San Antonio,
cool.
Definitely Dallas. Since we're right there, of course, Louisiana, like New Orleans.
Yeah, how far is New Orleans from y'all?
I think like 4 hours.
I did a mic in New Orleans. I was there for a trip, and I did a mic at this place called the Hi-Ho Lounge. It's like a really a lot of big comics have done that. It's a Sunday night open mic, but I think they do shows in. There's some fucking killers in New Orleans. There's some fun. I mean, mostly black, I would say. But there was some. There was a white kid named Morgan D'Antone. So like little, he was little. He was funny as hell. So I'm like, another white comedian named Morgan. What the fuck? But there's some really funny comics in New Orleans. Yeah. But,
one of the funniest guys out of Houston right now. His name is Joshua Jordan. He's from Louisiana, and I know he goes to Louisiana pretty often.
Nice.
I think Lafayette. I think they go to Lafayette.
Okay.
And they do shows out there.
Nice.
But I think so. me and my boys, we do want to start getting like a thing together. Honestly, it's just a matter of one of us driving. I would drive. It's just like my truck is a little older, so I don't want to risk getting stranded in fucking San Antonio.
Yeah, that would
anywhere. You don't want to get stranded anywhere.
I don't want to risk that, and they're kind of in the same boat.
You guys are way too close to the border. They'll deport you in a heartbeat. It doesn't matter that you're...
We see the wrong dude. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, but, like a whole van of them would be right there.
Exactly.
To a gator or something down there.
Right.
But that, right, all that's kind of in the plans, but we don't want to... So here's my thing, is like the whole Austin thing, like... I think Austin is very oversaturated right now. Just from what I've seen,
very.
Like I've been there. I've been there like for multiple days. I've watched multiple mics. I've seen a lot of the comics. Truth be told, the majority of the comics in Austin are not good. Like,
everybody moves there. Yeah. It's like LA for acting or whatever.
Exactly.
Everyone. So you're gonna get really good people, but you're gonna get a lot of people that are trying to be good that aren't good yet.
And like the problem with the people who are moving there is. So there's this line with everything, right? With everything you do. There's video games, sports, arts, whatever. There are bad people. There are average people. Then there are average people who have the potential to move into good. Right. And then there's good, right? Yeah. So like people who are just naturally good, they're always gonna be recognized. Yeah. They could be doing open mics for 6 months and they're gonna start getting asked to be on shows, stuff like that. People who are average but have the potential to be good, they're gonna have to work harder, but they'll be able to get there. That makes sense. Average people can still make it with their own way, right? Average people. You guys are funny. You guys are funny.
Morgan's gonna go.
No, I'm not leaving here.
The average comedian can still make it to a point where they are at least getting paid to do comedy. Yeah. And then bad people are just delusional people who shouldn't be doing comedy. Yeah. They don't have jokes. They fucking are just.
The lucky ones get a podcast.
The lucky ones get a podcast. But like. Those average people who are good, the problem is all 4 of those types of people are moving to Austin. Yeah. Right. And the average people who are good are gonna suffer. The average people who have the potential to be good are gonna suffer because they're never gonna be able to grow. They're always gonna be pushed to the back of the line. They're not gonna get in front of real crowds. They're not gonna get in front of people who matter. Average people who can network better are probably gonna have a better opportunity than average people who can probably get good. Of course, like I said, good people, they're going to rise to the cream of the crop. Bad people, they're going to be with the rest of the homeless encampments in Austin in like 2 years. Yeah.
Like, so are you wanting to kind of get elevated as one of the better comics in Houston and then looking at moving elsewhere? That's kind of what... So what I was... when I was talking to... Enrique Chacon last month, he was like, yeah, when I did the Tony thing, got the golden ticket, Tony's like, dude, you gotta move to Austin because you're gonna stagnate in Houston. There's not enough stuff here, you can get on the mothership, and then he moved to Austin, and he was telling me, he's telling all of this. He's like, man, my guarantee just went up from $700 a night to $1,000 a night. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
You were a school teacher before this, man.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know any school teacher.
It costs me $50 every time I go to an open mic. I'm paying $50.
It is really cool. It is really cool, like knowing like a lot. So
not really, babe. Sorry, my husband. He doesn't listen, but just in case.
A lot of my friends, they were coming up whenever Enrique had already had like spots. So from what I understand is like Enrique was the Mexican of Houston, like
and he's not even Mexican. He's Salvadoran.
That fucking piece of shit, stolen valor and shit.
He talks about pupusas a lot.
Yeah, fucking dickhead. I've heard great things about Enrique. Please book me on Don't Tell if you ever listen to this.
If you'd like to rebuttal, you're welcome to come on Morgan and Breaking Hymans with Morgan and Lauren.
Shit, yeah.
But a lot of my friends, they started whenever Enrique was still like at the secret group. So Enrique used to have like an open mic at the secret group. Okay. One of my best friends runs that same open mic now. Nice. He was like the guy at the Riot for like a little bit before he, made his debut on Kill Tony, and the rest is history, right?
Fuck, that's awesome.
But I mean, he is right in that is like, which is why like, another piece of advice that I've heard from vets is like, you should never give a fuck about being the best in Houston. Like, Like if you're really upset about like, oh, you're not getting spots in Houston, about like, it's like, who gives a fuck? Like you shouldn't give a fuck about like about any of that, because really your main goal should be getting on, like touring, making money, doing stuff like that. Yeah. So my goal personally is like, obviously to build up my act in Houston. I just want to have like a solid like 15, like a very solid 15, like rock hard 15, and then I would like to move to New York. But my thing is, I'm not gonna move to New York just for comedy. Like I'll get a job in New York.
Sure, yeah, that's practical.
If I can interject, what is your degree in?
Marketing.
Okay. Oh, that'll.
Okay, so you could work for a company doing marketing and then doing stand-up.
Well,
that's
not only
idea.
that, you're going to be able to sell yourself. That's something that
a
whole lot of. I mean, that right there is a leg up that a lot of people don't have.
And I mean, I've only been in New York once. I spent a week there a couple of years ago. I would friggin' love to. I don't know if I would love to live there permanently, but spend a month there. Just get an apartment, do open mics. Which I was listening to. Dusty Slay was on a podcast a while back, and he was based in. He started, I think, in Charleston, South Carolina, but when he started getting good, he's like, I want to get real good. So I went and I had a friend, had an apartment in New York, lived there for a month, did like 40 open mics in a month. And like that, I mean, that's a make or break kind of thing. You're going to know if you can make it or not doing something like that. So, but that New York is, I mean, Austin was awesome, but I think LA, Austin, and New York. But I mean, New York you've got the biggest concentration.
Absolutely.
Of
you
clubs, of comics, of everybody.
You can travel out of there. Like
Austin, you're driving all over the fucking
place. And how many of everyone's favorite comics throughout the history of the United States have come out of New York,
most of them,
or ended up there, like either started there, or
their career there.
So I don't want to be on SNL. I just want to I mean, I will if they ask. But
so right now, do you kind of have a little bit of a timeline for yourself, or are you just kind of seeing how far you progress, how quickly?
So right now, I definitely want to move to New York by 27.
Okay.
So I'm
by the time you turn 27 or 2027?
Nah, by the time I turn 27.
I mean, they're pretty close, like a year off.
Yeah, it's like a year off. But I would like to move to New York by the time I turn 27. I think that would be a good. That'd be a good year. Hopefully, by then, I have like my financial situations figured out.
Get yourself a sugar mama, man.
Right, that's what I need to do. That's exactly what I need to do. Just find old.
Time to call your dad.
Literally. How do I do this, Dad? Teach me. It's time to be a dad now.
Teach me the ways.
Literally. But yeah.
That's what you need. You need a rich cougar in New York, man.
That is what I need. That's exactly what I need.
Come to me for more career advice. That's all you got to do. Rich cougar in New York.
But
well on your way.
But one of the vets in Houston. So there's that aspect of it, and there's the aspect of like building up yourself as a comedian, and like I've kind of heard a lot of different things lately, and it's like not many people got famous off of just doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Like, and not many people just got successful off of just doing stand-up. Like, there's always something that goes along with it. They play a character. They do a podcast. They make YouTube videos. They do something else that kind of supplements it. And then there's also the line of like, well, how you get better as a stand-up in general while actually like building a name for yourself. And I'll never forget, I got some really good advice from this veteran comedian. He's also passed with the mothership. His name's Will Loden. He told me and my buddy Christian one night. He was like, so he was really drunk, and he was like,
they give the best advice when they're drunk.
Yeah, he was like, do you two Mexicans want to learn comedy advice? And we gathered around him like he was this fucking we gathered around him like he was this fucking
Buddha.
Yeah, we're sitting there like, yes, Will Loden, tell us. And he's like, the way you can get better while also making money doing it is what you do is you build up 10 minutes. Like 10 real minutes. 10 real solid minutes that are bulletproof. You take them into any room, guaranteed to get laughs. What you do, yes, him. Yeah, dude. Okay. Dude's funny as fuck.
He looks like, I'll show you.
He kind of looks like you, Morgan, just a little bit.
Yeah, no, seriously, So I need to grow my hair out.
But,
alright. Yeah,
but, he tells us, he's like, the way you do, you need 10 solid minutes. Mm-hmm. It probably should take you realistically like a year and a half, 2 years to develop. Like it's like a good 10 minutes, and that's moving fast. Mm-hmm. Like if it takes you 3 years, it'll take you some time. But like 10 solid minutes that are undeniable, And then what you do is you start calling these little towns, such as like a Lubbock that has a smaller scene, and like
Big Springs, Midland.
I would get into contact with like Morgan, for example. I would call Morgan. I'd say, "Hey, Morgan, I'm a comic from Houston. I have 15." I would say I have 15, even though I only have 10. I'd say I have 15. Do you guys have open mics? And Morgan would say, "Yeah, I have open mics." And then I would say, "Can I headline your open mic?"
Yeah, features
at no cost.
And we do that, you know.
Exactly. And
I usually pay, but yeah, you know, I fuck you over, sure.
So,
now that you know.
Well, and so then, you know, then you have a guaranteed spot in a place, and then from there, that's whenever you start. That's whenever you call Amarillo. "Hey, Amarillo, when do y'all have an open mic? Can I headline that open mic?"
Just string them together.
Hey, Midland, when can I headline this open mic? Blah, blah, blah. And then you're getting 15 minutes at all these places, and you're also making connections, and you're getting paid for it, ideally. But that's what he told us, is like, build up your 10, then you like hit up smaller comedy scenes, and you say, "Can I headline your open mic?" And then whenever you do headline the open mic, this is why you have solid 10, because you at least you do your little new material, or you do like, you know, your 5 solid.
You're never not
new,
writing.
Exactly. And then ideally, the way it's supposed to go is you crush. And then the host is like, "Hey, do you want to do a show this weekend?" And then that's where you start making money, because then he's like, you know, you start killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So that's like the biggest piece of advice I've gotten in terms of like the future of my
and you're building a reputation, you're making connections, people talk, they're like, "Hey, have you heard this kid Jordan? He's fucking good." And, because I talk to people in Amarillo, I talk to people in Midland, Odessa, you know, I talk to people in San Angelo, so yeah, because it's all close. That's fucking good advice.
Exactly. That's the best advice I've gotten from like a vet, honestly.
Nice.
And Will Odin is great. He's a good dude. He's very fun.
I'll watch some of his stuff. I just followed him.
So what are your socials? You're on Instagram?
We're right at about an hour, so yeah. Are you trying to post stuff online?
Would you stop interrupting me? I'm about to smack the shit out of you.
I'm so sorry, buddy. I'm very, very sorry.
I'm just kidding, it's fine.
All right.
I'm used to it. I say that every episode.
You're used to men interrupting you?
Yes. So it's Jordan CHTX on Instagram.
And then my Facebook is just my name, Jordan Cavarrubio. Honestly, my TikTok, I think my TikTok is Jordan CHTX too. Okay. But am I posting clips yet? So that's the thing, is I'm finally starting to get to places where I like the material that I have, so I'm starting to record it.
That's good.
That being said, I only have voice recordings of it.
Yeah.
Same.
I'm dealing with this thing, right? I'm actually just dealing with this thing. I was at a club not too long ago. I had the set of my life. I had the best set I've ever had, where I was like, I had people like pop.
Nice.
And then I paid $20 to get my fucking set, and a month later, just today, as a matter of fact, today I checked my email and they're like, "Hey, we don't have your tape. Do you want a refund, or do you want a tape on the house?" And I was like, "That's fucking...
I want my life back, you motherfuckers."
Literally, bro. I want my fucking 8 minutes of killing. That's what I want.
You can do it again, though. I know you can.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just go up there and do it again, man.
So the next plan, or now what I'm kind of on this like fucking communist way, right, where I'm like, we gotta collectivize the fucking video camera. I'm gonna buy a video camera.
Well, that's a great idea, because we have there are people in Lubbock that have like equipment, and we have friends of, you know, I paid a guy that used to do stand up to record a set. It was dog shit. It was before I was good.
Yeah.
Brad should start selling.
Brad,
we've got an AV guy that
one of Tanner's roommates is really good. I want him to film some stuff. So knowing somebody that's good at that shit, knowing somebody that's good, knows all this kind of shit, podcast content, making sketch comedy.
If you're this old, it's a requirement. I'm like, I don't know.
hell, maybe your entryway is, you know, getting your own fucking version of tires.
That's what I want to. That's what I want to move into.
Sketch is hilarious. I love sketch.
I want to get a nice I want to get a decent camera so I can record my sets, and then I want to start making short films. Like a real short, like a 10-minute short film. And it doesn't have to just be comedy. Like, I'll do a horror short film, I'll do whatever. But just because I want to get into the habit of not that I want to act, but you need to have that for stand up. You need to have that.
You don't want to wait till your Netflix special to see what you look like on stage.
Exactly.
You want to have an idea before then.
That's a fucking great idea. So thanks so much for doing this, man.
Dude,
We're right out about an hour. But follow on the socials, Jordan.
I'm so glad you brought this up last night, man. And come back anytime. Bring friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be back.
I mean, they have to be funny. I kid.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.